Alright my people, so y'all saw those two videos. I shared them previously, one last week and one a couple few days before that, of the ocean marine animals going towards shore, seemingly herding up and running away from something. It could just be tendencies or what they do, but I do believe that it's possible they're running away from a large creature of some sort. Those videos, coupled with the crazy Balenciaga fashion show that was done completely in a mud pit, have people questioning what could be coming. Why many are saying that the fashion show is predicting impending doom is because it is in mud. In fact, they believe it is the mud flood it is representing. Then, for some reason as of late, we have black entities roaming the sky. This video is absolutely crazy. And I know that previously the black entities were compared to the Sentinels in the Matrix, but they simply looked like them. They weren't the same in the sense of they didn't have any electricity surrounding their body and they weren't robotic. Well, there you have it. If you think you know what this entity is, please let me know in the comments. So these events, among more like the Euphrates River going dry, have people thinking that the apocalypse is on the way. And given that the ocean videos always keep me more intrigued, I decided to look into something that I never had really dug on before. The Leviathan and the Behemoth. There's very little on these creatures in the New Testament, but I checked into the book of Enoch, and there was a significant amount more, and it was very intriguing to say the least. In a fragment in the book of Noah, it explains that God created the Leviathan and the Behemoth on the 5th day. They were created by God to show and display his sheer power. Then they were separated and cast into their domains. And on that day, two monsters were parted, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the abysses of the ocean over the fountains of the waters, the great deep. But the male is named Behemoth, who occupied with his breast a wasted wilderness named Dudain, on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous stay. According to the Hebrew Bible, a third creature was even created at that time. This creature was known as the Ziz. It was a bird-like creature that ruled the skies. It had wings so massive that when it spanned them, they would blot out the sun and cover the land in darkness. Its wings protect the earth from storms from the south. Without its aid, we would not be able to resist the storms and the weather that comes from there. Once in history, an egg of the Ziz fell to the ground. Upon impact, it broke, and the fluid flooded 60 surrounding cities, and 300 cedars were flattened. Fortunately, accidents like this did not occur frequently, as the Ziz lets her eggs softly roll into the nest. This one just happened to be rotten, so it disposed of it irresponsibly. Though it's not as often mentioned, there was actually quite a bit of information on the Ziz. I'll possibly go into that more in the next video, but let's get back to the Leviathan and the Behemoth. As I explained, each creature was given domain over the property that it inhabited, the skies, the lands, and the sea. It's said that the Ziz and the Behemoth were actually peaceful creatures, and they just grazed about the land and lived. But the Leviathan, on the other hand, was absolutely and is purely evil. Now, after doing a lot of research, I couldn't figure out exactly what sex the Leviathan is, male or female. I got references as to both. In the book of Job, its description explains that it's a him, while in the book of Enoch, which I would tend to lean more towards the correct version, she is a female. In the beginning, there were two Leviathans, a male and a female, made accordingly to keep each other company. As time went on, however, it became clear to God that he could not allow both of them to survive, because if they bred, they would possibly devour the entirety of the earth. Alternative versions claim that it was possibly because of them becoming possessed, or one of them for that matter, that a demon overtook it and made it evil. So in order to preserve his other creations, God descended to earth and began battle with one of the massive Leviathan. It says God was taken aback by the sheer strength of the animal, and it gave him much struggle. But of course, because God is all-powerful, he defeated the Leviathan and saved the rest of his creations on this planet. But the Leviathan that is left, this only made it bitter, and it's waiting for its rematch with God as we speak. After killing the beast, it's said that God used its skin as a canopy. It is known that the Leviathan has some of the most beautiful skin of all of God's creation, so it made an exquisite piece. Under said canopy, there's a massive feast made from the flesh of the Leviathan, for the righteous after God comes for judgment. He also used the remaining skin to make garments for Adam and Eve. This displays the mercy of God, because even though they had disobeyed him by eating the forbidden fruit, he gave them the necessary tools to survive after kicking them out of the Garden of Eden. So even though he had defeated and killed one of the Leviathan, the remaining one posed a special threat to mankind. Known for being the only destructive one of the three creatures God created on the fifth day, the Leviathan tended to wreak havoc on early peoples of Earth. In addition to being extremely dangerous, it's said that mankind alone cannot defeat the Leviathan. The size of the creature is said to be unknown because it's too big for mankind to comprehend. But some legends of creation reference it as being over 300 miles long. So it was feared by all, and its armored scales made it impossible to defeat. Here we have a description from the book of Job. His strong scales are as pride, shut up as with a tight seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined to one another, they clasp each other and cannot be separated. His sneezes flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning torches. Sparks of fire leap forth. Out of his nostrils smoke goes forth as from a boiling pot and burning rushes. His breath kindles like coals, and a flame goes forth from his mouth. In his neck lodges strength, and dismay leaps before him. The folds of his flesh are joined together, firm on him and immovable. His heart is as hard as a stone, even as hard as a lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty fear. Because of the crashing, they are bewildered. The sword that reaches him cannot avail, nor the spear, the dart, or the javelin. He regards iron as straw, bronze as wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned into stubble for him. Clubs are regarded as stubble. He laughs at the rattling of the javelin. His underparts are like sharp potsherds. He spreads out like a threshing sledge on the mire. He makes depths boil like a pot. He makes the sea like a jar of ointment. Behind him makes a wake to the shine. One would think the deep to be gray-haired. Nothing on earth is like him. One made without fear. He looks on everything that is high. He is king over all sons of pride. That's Job 41, lines 15 through 32. In some ancient texts, it even says the Leviathan could kill mankind, merely the smell of its breath. It was said to poison the air and kill everything in sight. So there you have it, folks. The Leviathan and a little bit on the Ziz. I'm going to go into more on the Ziz and Behemoth in the next video. I'll also go into the book of Enoch a little more and the fragment of Noah that it presents. It's intriguing to say the least, so make sure you all tune in. I hope y'all enjoyed this video and it gave you a little insight, and maybe, just maybe, the sea creatures are acting up because of, I don't know, a 300-mile long creature made by God himself. The only legendary creature of the three he made at the time he made all animals that is destructive and borderline evil. In the last video I shared, this looked like something similar to a sea serpent or sea dragon. So, the Leviathan. In the video, I didn't show some pictures of what I had found because I didn't really want to get it held back of the video itself, or, I don't know, go too far. But I ended up sharing some of them in the comments. I was able to find pictures that were, to me, proved that there's no way they were manatees, okay? But I understood where people were coming from on the manatees, because I got a lot of comments hating and all that stuff, as usual. They're just making my video go that much further, so it works out. But yes, I will admit, after looking at the video over and over again and reading some of the comments, there were manatees in that video. No doubt about it. But as I was reading through the comments, I noticed one in particular. The person was more or less anonymous, but they said that in the area that they lived, there had been these creatures caught feeding on manatees. So why do you think they didn't eat the dog? With that being said, what do y'all think in the comments? I know it sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, could there be something with this? Could there be something with the return of the Leviathan? I surely hope not, because I hope it's not the end of times. I believe that mankind, if it is, deserves a little more time, a little more mercy, I guess, if you will. I know it looks like on paper we're venturing towards the dark, but we have many of us that are light, and we deserve a chance. So there you have it, folks. The Leviathan and a little bit on the Ziz. I'm going to go into more on the Ziz and Behemoth in the next video. Either way, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope you stay tuned in for the crazy, the odd, the mysterious, and I hope y'all look forward to my next video. Also, kind of keep an eye out. I want to start going live more. I'm going to start going live more, so stay tuned for that. Stay in love, stay in the light. Be kind to others, treat them how you want to be treated. I am out.